So YouTube has been around for about 20 years and everything. And I do remember the first time when YouTube was like fresh, right? Like it was 2007 when I first discovered YouTube and everything. I was a young kid. I still remember the first video I watched as a kid, which was the Spider-Man 3 video game trailer for the PS3 because the PS3 was legendary at the time and it still is one of the best consoles ever. But a friend of mine did mention that he was watching YouTube and everything, and he told me that YouTube just does not hit the same anymore. And I was like, you know what? You might have a point. Now, the point of YouTube back then was broadcasting yourself, where it's showcasing kind of you just making vlogs, doing whatever, just showcasing your life in front of the internet and everything. That's what YouTube was originally meant to be, was just broadcasting, just stuff randomly, just highlights of your life and clips and everything, and just fucking off. But what makes this kind of crazy is that I remember as a kid, I was watching the first Spider-Man 3 trailer and everything in 2007, and man, times were kind of cool. And of course, there was this unique gaming space niche back then where I'd watch walkthroughs and everything, and watch a lot of gaming content courses and try to, look for the new console reviews, but end up being a fucking rickroll every time. Now, this might be nostalgia talking to most of us and everything, right? But YouTube back then was definitely more authentic, right? Like, it definitely had a lot more personality and balls. Even the bigger creators back then, before they even got monetized super big, that a lot of them really did have that creativity and passion driven behind the videos, even though some of them were kind of stupid back then, especially the skits, man. It seems like skits have definitely evolved over time, and they're now making a comeback in modern YouTube again, which is great. But I do feel like these type of skits have this unique charm, like it's like old school and dated, but in a good way. I can't really describe it. It has this unique dated charm. Now, I am aware that YouTube back then was definitely not fucking perfect, man. Like, I remember watching a lot of videos of, like, misleading, like, clickbait and everything back then as well. And the clickbait back then was not, like, just getting fucking trolled or something all the time either. It was also getting jump scared by scary pop-ups and shit and screamers. And I don't miss those one bit because I was a pussy back then. And nowadays, they're all kind of cheesy and dated, it's kind of funny to look at in a weird type of nostalgia way. But those screamers, man, when you're a kid trying to look up how to like clean scratches on a PS2 disc, yeah, that was a dick move. But I will say that old YouTube kind of hit different too, because not everyone was trying to be a content creator, trying to make money off the internet and trying super hard to have these super crazy ideas all the time and everything. It was just all about just having fun, I think that's what matters the most about old YouTube. And the best part about old YouTube was there was no ads of any kind yet, and I do remember that very vividly. It was about until like late 2008 is when they started getting ads, or '09 around there. I don't remember exactly, but I do remember everyone was pissed when the ads on YouTube started coming around. Now, I can definitely see the problem with modern YouTube being kind of stale now and boring for a lot of people, because now there's like channels that are like drama channels and everything. And I gotta admit, man, on my other channel, on my main channel, I was a drama related commentary like channel, but I actually was not really like, I was kind of doing it for the views back then. And I realized that it wasn't really me, and I really wasn't into that type of shit. So I decided, to stop doing that, obviously. But it's really sad, actually, that there's a lot of people who basically are like the paparazzi of the internet trying to milk like other creators for money and shit. And I ain't gonna lie, dude, there's a lot of, influencers are also idiots too. And it does not help that there's so many influencers. They're such terrible people, or they come off as such terrible people. And for some reason, man, there's a lot of people on the internet that like to make the wrong people famous. And that's kind of fucking crazy. It also doesn't help that creators like Mr. Beast has basically turned YouTube into like a paparazzi scheme where you have to do some crazy professional type videos now just to get a huge following to be the king of YouTube. Because I do remember when PewDiePie and everything was on top of YouTube, that he was at least authentic, even though he was annoying as fuck. He was genuine for the most part, and even though he did make some mistakes and everything, at least he wasn't like, trying to treat YouTube like it's fucking Elon Musk or some crazy shit. And the sad part is, in the early days of Mr. Beast, I kind of did like his like older videos and everything. And the funny part is, he did actually do some Call of Duty commentaries back in the day with Black Ops 1, 2, and 3, and even the Modern Warfares and shit, which is actually kind of funny now looking back. It just seems like when any YouTube company or just anything that turns into a giant corporation, it just basically gets toxic, and then it loses any type of like anything genuine out of it nowadays. And I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like a lot of YouTube videos nowadays, or just a lot of channels, feel like more like fucking cable TV or slash documentary type style. Now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely ways you could avoid that type of content, but I've seen a lot of content that is very similar towards TV. And for fuck's sake, dude, YouTube has its own TV streaming service that people actually pay for, which is kind of wild. But I don't know if it's actually any good, but I've heard people use it. And I heard it's like decent or something like that. And another problem too is that with older YouTube, a lot of videos are like 10 minutes or shorter, which is kind of crazy because I also remember when older YouTuber had like an upload file limit, like you couldn't upload more than 1 GB or something like that for a video, which is actually kind of crazy to even think about. But yes, the problem now is that there's so many like long form videos that are more than like 30 minutes long. Like, don't get me wrong, I do love longer videos, but it seems like nowadays, dude, in order for people to want to grow all the time, a lot of people try to grow on YouTube by super overly editing videos with 10 like to 20-minute videos, length videos all the time, to the point where like it gets kind of old after a while, you know? Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but at least you got to go back to a point where you have to at least stand back. And a lot of people are now craving that more like laid back personal style now video to relate with the creator, because there's a lot more people who don't want someone to look up as an influencer, more as like an actual person. But the cool thing is, man, like it seems like more and more of old school YouTube is coming back, and there's some more creators that are actually paying off for it too. Like there's this YouTuber called Ian on YouTube where this guy just vlogs about himself working at 7-Eleven, you know, being his genuine self, just vlogging his life, you know, just living the best life, because he used it as a route to kind of, you know, as a way to escape from like the everyday grind and everything, and to show his creativity and passion for YouTube. And I found it kind of cool because he got into the algorithm just being himself, being able to make whatever type of videos, whatever he felt like, and I thought that shit is kind of cool. There's an actual audience for people like that still, which is great. And I do think more and more people should definitely go on YouTube and just start being a more authentic self and to showcase their life like how YouTube used to be back in the day. Broadcasting yourself is still a big deal, and I do think people should start doing that more often. Like, I might not know the rules and routes of the keys of how to grow a YouTube channel like fully on, you know, but I do know is that a lot of people will love to watch your shit if you're just the most authentic and real person on the platform, and not just someone who's just trying to get fucking views off fake clout and stuff. Because like I said, we've all done it at least once if we are a creator at some point in our lives. Selling your morality and soul for views is just honestly kind of sickening, man, and it kind of defeats the whole purpose of the passion of being a content creator. It just feels like another job that you're stuck at, and you may eventually start to hate it. It also does not help with YouTube also making some dumb ass rules all the time, anti-consumer rules about every little fucking thing and not giving a damn. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, the new CEO kind of sucks balls. I'm sure he might be able to see this video at some point. But like Susan Wojcicki, man, even though she was not great whatsoever, that a lot of people are starting to miss her, and I think that a lot more people should definitely give her more credit than she got. It is kind of sad that we're comparing someone that's a worse CEO than the other one just to kind of give the other one that wasn't that great some credit, you know? It really is kind of crazy. Now, for a lot of you guys, man, like your definition of old school YouTube might be different from mine, man, because there's a lot of people who definitely watch YouTube at a different time period. Like, I met some people who watched YouTube in like 2010. I've also met people who started watching in like 2013. I also know some people who started watching in like 2015 and 2016 when, you know, when like you're able to make some edgy ass content on the platform and get monetized for damn near everything, which is actually kind of crazy because I feel like 2010 to 2015 was definitely peak YouTube when it comes to monetization and everything. Like, I gotta say, man, it was definitely pretty balanced back then than it is now. Anyways, everybody, what are your guys' thoughts about like old school YouTube and modern YouTube? Like, how do you guys feel about it now? Do you feel like YouTube has actually gotten better, or do you feel like YouTube may have gotten worse in other ways too? Like, in my honest opinion, man, I think YouTube has somewhat gotten a little bit better in some areas, and then it's gotten a bit worse in others. Now, the ads, like the ad problem, man, that is definitely an issue, and YouTube definitely needs to fucking fix that, man. Like, double ads on every video is crazy, and I hear they might even have triple ads soon, and I would not be surprised, man, because it seems like they're getting greedier every fucking year. And the fact that now YouTube ads are basically like can't get rid of at all on premium anymore, and they be lying about that, like that is so fucking shady. Man, I could ramble for hours about YouTube and everything, but I'm just going to go ahead and end it here. And thank you guys so much for listening about this video. If you guys have any other opinions about YouTube and what things that are better than I have not spoken in this video, please feel free to leave it down in the comment section below because I like to read some of these. Anyways, guys, I'll see y'all in the neall in the next video and I hope you all are staying safe. So peace out.